Hi, this is Lele.
And Mikey, welcome back.
Yeah, we are here doing another one. Like we said, we'll put out 2.
It's a twofer.
But it might take a few extra days for one of them to come out just because of schedules for our techie and everything. But we're making 2, and yeah, we're going to always try to make sure you guys don't feel cheated on content.
We got to give you a little something new here and there.
Yeah.
Because I know how much you guys love listening to our episodes over and over and over again.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Welcome to the Lele and Mikey show, where she brings it and I wing it.
I'm ready to bring it. So we talked about the history of video games in our last episode. I'm
still floored. Like, I'm surprised that we only took the time that we took because it's been such a huge part of my life. I don't even want to know how many hours I've spent on computer games.
And it's probably our longest episode, but it's just a
But when you're nerdy to the core.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a large topic. It's maybe just a little longer than the one we did about Johnny and Amber.
We might do another follow-up on some of our favorite games and favorite moments with them, but today, what do we have for them, Lele?
So we're going to do a 180. You know how I like to switch things up.
What about like a 140? Like almost...
We could call it that.
Almost all the way turned around with just a little bit the other direction?
Yeah, I know, I hear you. So we're going to talk about the 27 Club. Do you know what that is?
27 Club? Mm-hmm. I don't.
Okay. You've never heard of it before.
There's a club with 27 people in it?
Okay.
How would I have heard of it if there's only 27 people in this club?
Well, there's not 27 people in the club. It's just called the 27 Club.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is all foreign to me.
So anyway, basically, you don't want to be in this club.
Okay. It's a bad club.
It's a club that is definitely something that I don't know. Basically the 27 Club is famous people who die at 27.
Oh. Okay. All right. So I have heard about this.
With the 27 Club, kind of like people have started to get superstitious about it. There's actually quite a few people, who are famous who've died at the age of 27. It's notorious.
Please don't tell me Paul Walker was one of them.
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe he was a little older than that.
Well, there's some older back, further back, older back. But there are
potato, pronunciation. Call it how you want, Lele. It's fine.
Yeah. So, basically, people kind of had started thinking about the whole concept after some deaths, and then one happened that really grounded in, and I'm going to kind of get into it.
Okay, yeah, because there'd have to be an often reoccurrence or before people start making a connection, right?
Exactly. So the thing why it's caught people's attention is because it seems like you get these super talented, like game changer performers who come into this scene. And, it's almost like you could think that like for their fame, like how famous they got, they almost like the trade was that they'd have to die at 27. Like you almost wonder that. Because
it's like a shooting star that lights up the sky and then fizzles off.
Like a devil who's all like, you can have all of this.
I have paid you in full.
Yeah.
Time to cough it up.
Yeah, exactly. Like
return the bargain.
I mean, come on. You talk to someone who's young and, they're thinking 27 sounds old. I mean, it's possible, right?
Hey, I mean, there's people that have lived 80 years and done jack squat. So maybe if you have like a good 7 or 8 year run, it's worth it. ... Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, so
27 is so young now. Now that I'm like 38, I'm just starting to figure out who I am here, for crying out loud.
yeah. So like people kind of started talking about it around when Jimi Hendrix, which is part of the 27 Club, and Janis Joplin died.
I actually made the mistake once of asking my dad the best concert he ever been to. And he's like, yeah, I went and saw Jimi Hendrix. And I was like,
Yeah, I was like, I want to see Jimi Hendrix.
Like, okay, I shouldn't have asked you that question.
Yeah, and there are people who still think that nobody has topped his skill like Jimi Hendrix. But, when somebody dies young, they always become a legend somehow. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens.
27. Man, that's so young.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's so sad. Like,
I know.
At 21, you're like, wow, I'm an adult. I can do whatever. Like, to think that it would be over like 6 years later.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know. You're not even like, everybody even talks about now how 30 is the new 20. Like, you're still figuring stuff out.
Well, I mean, you've only been able to rent a freaking car for 2 years and then you're done. Like, that's sad. It's like,
yeah, that is.
I think I've reached full term in my life. 2 years ago, I was able to legally rent a car.
Hey, it's all the perks that you want besides like senior citizen discounts because you're old. I mean, just saying, like, people like getting them, but do they really want to? No. But you do want to be able to rent a car.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Valid? No.
But also what's crazy is you remember what a year was like in elementary school.
Mm-hmm. It took forever.
Eternity. Yeah. You're like, summer just started. Someone even mentions Christmas and you're like, oh my gosh.
That's so far away.
That's so far away.
It's true.
But then I'm convinced once you turn 21, every subsequent year after 21 goes a little faster.
Well, and
because my 20s flew by. My 30s are almost gone and I'm like, what in the crap happened?
So this is what I think. I think when you're younger, you still have so many pivotal points in your life that you're trying to hit.
Landmarks, things that you accomplish or do.
You're going to be a teenager. Then you're going to be able to drive a car. Then you're going to be able to be an adult. Then you get to drink.
Yeah, it's like I just want to graduate from high school. I'm tired of people telling me what I have to do all the time.
Yeah, and I think
lo and behold, they have no idea.
True.
I'll go back to those high school days where I was worried about whether or not people liked me and if I got a passing grade in a class.
And not providing for a family. I get it.
Oh, that's no big deal. No problem.
No, but so I think is what happens is you just don't have as many like big landmarkers. And so it just kind of starts to flow together. You can kind of slip into a routine and it's a little more.
Well, and like a mature mid 20-year-old, you can hang out with a 40-year-old and be cool.
True.
Mm-hmm. That's where you're just basically starting to be a person.
Yeah. No,
in my viewpoint.
Like where they really start to figure it out. Just like, I can hang out with a 60-year-old and we get along just great, because you also get to the point where you realize that as old as someone gets, they're still just a person inside and they're just as alive as their body. Inside. Yeah, they're just, whatever, like their body is old, but their person inside of them is maybe wiser, maybe not, but like they're still, they get a reminder
every day when they wake up and they look in the mirror and like, geez.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm a very wise 19-year-old, and there's probably people who are in their 80s who feel that way. So it's like it changes your perspective on things, right?
But I feel like it would be such like they're cheated.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
they don't get to get there.
The 20s are kind of cool, but in my opinion, the 30s are really incredible.
I agree.
And I know it moves on from there. There's different phases when you're talking about them, but it's like it still blows my mind. 27, that's so young.
Yeah, well, and I felt like with my 20s, that was me trying to work through my psychological issues that I went through from like being a teenager and like things like that, and like trying to figure out who I was, trying to let go of like whatever self-esteem issues I'd gotten throughout school from my whole, childhood.
Because kids are terrible and mean.
They're evil. So, I'm just saying, like, I feel like you start to really just come into yourself, right? When you get to around 30, you start to get really secure about who you are and figure out what's good for you.
Like the dream machine turns on in your late teens and early 20s. Okay, and then the 20s is like the proving ground. It's like, okay,
you're figuring it out.
How am I going to become
this.
what I want. But then the group we're going to be talking about appear to have it all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In such a short time span.
Exactly. So, okay. When the 27 Club really started to like get its name and its popularity being passed around was when
it was people knew about it.
Yeah, when it really became a big thing was when Kurt Cobain died at 27.
Yeah.
So he's part of that club too. And then when
Can we thank drugs?
Yeah, well that's what I want to bring up.
For a majority of these 27-year-old fizzles?
Yeah, we can talk about that too. Like what were most of these deaths? And Amy Winehouse, she just drove it into home right after that, and she died of alcohol problems when she was 27.
It was alcohol?
Yeah, that's why she was
had
saying
so much
they
alcohol in
wanted
her
me to
system.
go to rehab, and I said no.
She should have said yes.
She should have. She's
They
still
told
here.
me not to go to rehab, and I said no. Too bad.
Yeah. So, her you don't usually hear of someone that young killing themselves with alcohol.
Yeah, but at that stage of life, too, you're so young, you kind of feel invincible.
True.
And at that part of life, it's easy to push the envelope and think you haven't gone too far. Mm-hmm. Right?
I mean, she did do some drugs, too. But I guess she was like...
But alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, she was like a hardcore alcoholic.
It's when you're like chugging down 2 bottles of vodka.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. So, it's just a tragedy. And, I found out something that I didn't realize. I wondered how many people were really part of the 27 Club.
And that's what I'm waiting to hear because I am now very curious.
Okay. So I was mind blown to find out that it's actually 54 people.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but it goes back further than I thought, too.
Starting where?
It started with Alexandre Levy in 1892, who died of 27.
Alexandre?
Though historic...
Alexander or Alexandre?
It's with there's no A, it's a Alexandre. There's an E after the R. A-L...
Do we know which country he's from?
Well, though history did not record the cause of Alexandre Levy's death enough, biographical details about the Sao Paulo born...
Sao Paulo?
Thank you.
Is that Brazil?
Yeah, I'm bad at the born pianist.
Ooh, he was a pianist.
Yeah, it's Brazil.
Brazil,
He was the
Sao-
most important
Sao Paulo.
composer born to French immigrants. Henry Levy. Anyway.
So it would
and
have
Casa
been
Levy.
Portuguese?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they speak in Brazil?
Yeah, it's Portuguese.
Portuguese?
No. Does Brazil speak Portuguese? Probably, actually, right? I don't know.
Or maybe
I get confused. I had a friend
We're terrible.
I had a friend from Brazil,
Dumb
and I can't even
Americans.
remember.
Which South American country are we talking about here? Which language?
I know Spain speaks Portuguese.
Spain, that's Portugal.
Portugal, yeah, Portuguese.
Spain speaks Spanish.
Oh, I mean, Portugal speaks Portuguese.
We might want to edit this one out. Mr. Producer!
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because they're basically in South America, they either speak Spanish or they speak Portuguese.
Sorry.
So,
hey, I'm better at some things than other people, but of
of us
Americans,
we're just going to shrug it off. It's okay. I'm not going to judge you. It's all right.
It's an American problem. They don't like teaching us too much about other cultures.
Spanish, Spain.
Okay, that was obvious. Yeah, okay,
Portugal,
that was bad.
Portuguese.
All right, let's just stop. Okay, we're just...
Okay, I'm done. I'm your little brother. I had to. Poke and prod.
Okay, so yeah. Anyway, I've been to Spain and Portugal, so I should know better. I just dug myself in deeper. So yeah, anyway, he was the first of the 27 Club that they know of.
So he was quite the piano prodigy.
The pianist, right? From 1881, he lived to 1908. So anyway.
At least he made it to the 19s.
Yeah, exactly. And, there's a lot of them. And there's actually, that's just the ones who were in, music. So we also have actors and stuff who have died that way. And what's really, gotten people's attention is that you get these, hard ballers, you know, that like made big, huge waves in the music industry. And so there's been people who've tried to like look for patterns or analyze something that would make a connection.
Yeah,
you know,
there's
like,
always those super like nerdy / no life people.
no life people.
I must find the connection. I must find how the equation.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know,
If you're one of those people, I'm sorry.
exactly. So, honestly, though, it's probably just chance, but it's just kind of weird that, you know, so many people have done that. So I'm going to touch more on the ones that are in, you know, time
But, you know,
periods that
there's
make
enough
sense.
people on the world that are dying.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be super significant, but the fact that it was notated once and then it happened again. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you read me all these names at some point, I'll be like, wow, that's pretty crazy. But
Yeah, right now it doesn't sound so much, right? So we have like Joe Henderson, who died in 1964, and he was a jazz saxophonist. And
love me some sax.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, he was a Mississippi-born man. He was a gospel singer, and he got a poppin' R&B like crossover hit in 1962. Like
Swing of 60s, baby,
yeah, with Snap Your Fingers and Click Slice of Horn. And anyway, he you know, was well known and respected in the music industry. He made a name for himself, and he was found dead from a surprise heart attack. Now, see, this is the thing, is like some of these deaths are kind of weird.
Yeah, 27's really young for
To have a heart attack, yeah.
But you know what? I
They
actually
live
have
hard,
a friend
though,
that I
right?
worked with, and he's about the same age as me. But I think he had a heart attack in like his late 20s, which is still crazy early. But he was lucky to survive. But yeah, it does happen.
Yeah. So have you ever heard of Spanky and our gang? Our gang? I didn't say it right. Spanky and our gang.
No.
Okay, so it was really big back then.
My mom's here during the recording.
She thumbs up that
She's
one.
our gray-haired
all, I
beauty,
remember.
and she's like, I know that one.
So yeah. Anyway, so he died in 1968. And
Oh man, that was a good year for cars. Can I just have that one squirrel?
yeah, jeez.
68 Camaro.
I
and
know.
68
Actually, you're right. The
69
cars
for
were
Camaro.
the cars were the smexiest, like back in that time period. I agree with that. But anyway, he died, and they claim that a faulty heating system caused him to die from carbon monoxide poisoning.
So he literally died in a car where someone misrouted his exhaust system into the car. Like,
no, it was a heating system. So
Okay.
you know, like how they make stuff smell now, so you'll smell it. So like
Okay.
people don't die in their houses and stuff from things.
oh,
Yeah.
that's really sad.
Yeah, it is, huh? They think it was a faulty system and it was like leaking.
In a
and that's how
car?
he died. No, it doesn't say it was in a car.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, like, if it's a heating system, I mean, I guess it could be in a car, but they don't specify in this. They just said it was
Oh, it could have been in a house if there was a
like they thought
pilot lit heater.
No, because they thought he died of bronchial pneumonia, but later researchers, you know, got like later you can check things better, and they say it was a faulty heating system.
Wow.
So if they thought it was bronchitis, I doubt he was in a car because it would have been more obvious to check for that, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Carbon monoxide
Good
poisoning.
point, Lele. Very good point.
I have my moments where the ticker works good. The brain.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my ticker
As
would
long
be
as
my
you're not
heart.
speaking Spanish in Portugal. I'm a jerk. I'm sorry.
And then, like, same year, 1968, we had Dickie Pride. He was a little lesser known. Anyway, he was British rock and roll.
He's a British guy.
Yeah. And
He was a
just
rocker.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Rocker and a roller.
So, anyway, he he took like too many sleeping pills and died. So now, we start to get like into.
It's too bad he didn't have a good mattress.
Yeah.
Could have solved a lot of problems for him.
It's just sad. So then we get to Brian Jones, which was in 1969. So like you notice that there's kind of like, it's like they have it's just funny that they'll happen so close together, a lot of them, and it's just kind of like, what's going on, man?
It's just like universe energy, and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
When you sell your soul to the devil at the same time.
I know that was terrible that I said that. I'm sure those people didn't, but I mean, it's like you can think in your head,
we're
like,
awful.
Yeah, it was kind
so
of
much
a joke.
is like happenstance or just random, and it's like people are like, this can't be a coincidence.
Yeah. Well, one more of why I thought of that is because like they had that whole Illuminati. They're part of the Illuminati. That's why they're famous.
They've got the got the third eye on their forehead.
You know how there's that thing where people are like, I know that Katy Perry's part of the Illuminati. Like, I know it. And, just like all these other people.
But she is.
Exactly. So like people could theorize that these people also, for fame, like, made some kind of an agreement. So that was what I was tying it to. Yeah, or pact.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I just know that
one could speculate.
Yeah, well, I mean, and like the thing is some of their deaths is just like kind of crazy. Like Brian Jones, he drowned by misadventure in his own swimming pool.
How do you misadventure your own swimming pool?
I don't know.
All right, so the guy who sells in the swimming pool says, you can swim in every part of your pool except for this one little spot. And if you do, you're going to die.
It's the misadventure spot.
Yeah. So you can swim everywhere else, but stay away from Misadventure Land. Those waters are forbidden and you will die.
Exactly.
Boom, boom, boom. Certain death.
So, that's also kind of mysterious, right? So, like, we've had one that did sleeping pills, but like aside from that, we've got drowning. We have.
But if you died in your own pool, like, were you drunk or you like OD'd? Like,
yeah, well, they think it's kind of suspicious. And then we've got the carbon monoxide.
Or unless he was drowned by
and
someone.
The heart attack at 27. Yeah, it's just weird. So yeah, it's just too bad that happened. To these people who are so young, and it's just like, I don't know. Some of them are just really weird to me. Like, to drown in your own pool suspiciously. And I don't know. They didn't say anything about drugs in his system. I just think it's weird.
Maybe he was sleepwalking and like couldn't wake up. That's how he misadventured into the pool.
Misadventure, there we go. And we're laughing, but we don't think it's funny that they died. It's just the situation.
No, it's just kind of crazy how they died.
Yeah, it's just weird, yeah.
Thank you for restoring humanity. I promise we're nice people. We're not awful.
We're all like,
he died doing this. Oh, wait. Let's make fun of the next one.
So then, we get
tragedy.
Alan, who was called Blind Owl, which our mother probably also knows. And he died in 1970. So these people were, a little more behind our time. But
yeah, considering the fact that it was before we were born.
Yeah, so he was a visionary guitarist. And he ended up... I'm not going to get into as much detail about these people because a lot of people don't remember them, and I don't want us to be on this forever. Yeah. We don't want to talk about this for forever.
We're going to stay in the 60s.
It's a sad
and the early 70s.
Story. Yeah, it's sad. Like, you don't want to hear about how a whole bunch of people died and stuff. So
yeah,
anyway,
that'll brighten your day.
Yeah, so he did like blues, infused boogie, rock kind of stuff.
Okay. And some of these artists probably kind of paved the way for the next generation.
And I've noticed a lot of them are like bluesy sounding. I'm just saying. Like a lot of the ones.
Well, when you got the blues.
Yeah, I mean, like even Amy Winehouse, she was kind of more like what you would picture, more like that kind of bluesy thing. At least to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
Proceed.
So yeah, anyway, he died of an accidental overdose.
Which is what I figured the big common thread would be. A lot of these people, when you have everything... Mm-hmm. And then you discover, drugs are kind of cool.
So he drank a lot of alcohol, and he bedded down for the night on Topanga Canyon hillside?
Topanga?
I don't know where Topanga is. Do you?
I know, it sounds exotic.
Yeah. Watch it somewhere just like over. It's by
isn't
New Jersey.
Topanga the Boy Meets World hottie, you know?
It's over here by New Jersey. Oh, it's in California. It's in California. Okay.
And it's a girl in a show called Boy Meets World.
What? No, this is Alan.
Topanga.
Oh, maybe they named her after that. That's interesting. But yeah, so he got really drunk and he bedded down for the night on a canyon hillside in Topanga and died because if you get alcohol poisoning and you're far away and alone, nobody's there to help you.
Sad.
I know, it's really sad. So on the road again, he was part of that.
I can't wait to get on the road again.
No. But anyway, and then of course we know, because now we're getting more closer to our time where we were still hearing this stuff when we were growing up. And we get to Jimi Hendrix, who also died in the 70s. And, you know, like this guy, I guess because his music wasn't as much, I think I didn't know as much about him, Alan, because he died the same year.
Oh.
As Jimi Hendrix, 1970.
They were born the same year, because if
no,
they both died at 27.
No, that's when they both died. They died the same year. Oh, yeah, you're right.
No, but if they're 27 club.
No, but one of them was, because people are sometimes born in the cross, like partial through the year or whatever. Okay. They were really close in age.
End of one year, beginning of another.
Alan was born in 1943 and Jimi Hendrix was born in 1942. So they were obviously less than a year apart.
Well, they could have been the same grade.
I just didn't want to be stupid again.
But it's kind of like, you know, you have the person who barely misses the deadline to go to elementary school and they get bumped to the next year. You know?
I'm just saying,
same type of thing.
They're probably the same age for part of a year.
There was a moment, a few days where they're like, we're the same age. No, we're not, but we were.
Yeah, and you know, Jimi Hendrix.
Amazing artist.
Yeah.
I recently actually stumbled on a YouTube video of a live show he did in like Hawaii.
Really?
And there's all these hippies like
go nuts.
But man, the guy could perform, and that's what I had a greater respect for my dad when he said the best show he'd ever seen was Jimi Hendrix. After I stumbled upon, I was like, "Geez, man,
you're a little wilder."
I wish I could go back in a time machine and experience that because the guy's insane.
No, man. I agree. I
total prodigy. Total. I mean, just game changer.
Yeah, I agree. You know, like who's somebody you would have loved to see live that you could have, but they died and you never got to it. I wanted to see Tom Petty.
Really?
I was really sad that Tom Petty died before I saw him.
You know what one of mine was? Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I never saw Michael Jackson either.
Well, of course you didn't, because the tickets were like always crazy expensive.
we were not the most money-filled household.
No, we weren't that privileged. Another one that's more recent that killed me.
What?
Was
brain fart.
Was Brain Fart. The band Brain Fart.
No. Sorry. So yeah, what you said there was someone you would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, Chester Bennington. Man, I was crushed. And Meteora, that album that they released, was in high school. Mm-hmm. And I had the really juiced up, sound system, my 1965 Volkswagen Bug.
Yeah, I got ya.
And I listened the crap out of that album. And when Chester Bennington died, I was legit. I literally listened to some of his songs and I cried.
Aww.
Because I appreciated, because he always wrote about the struggle.
Yeah.
Right? He wrote about how he came from this dark place and he struggles as a human, but he continues to move forward. And eventually, the light went out.
Yeah.
And so I know he was older than 27. I don't think he's a part of the 27 club. But
yeah. But
I wish I would have seen Linkin Park.
Me too. I was sad
big
about
time.
that.
I actually had an opportunity to see them, but I can't remember what the excuse was. I didn't have money at the time, or it didn't jive with my schedule. But man, I wish.
No, I hear you.
Wish I went and saw Linkin Park.
And I know this sounds like maybe this tells more of my age or what, but I was sad when David Bowie.
You're in your 40s. It's all right. I'm almost there. I'm right behind you.
When David Bowie died, I was like, how did I not go see David Bowie?
Let's dance. Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. Come on, yeah.
You know what would have been so cool to see? It would have been so cool to see him sing with Freddie Mercury under pressure.
Yeah.
Like
if I could be a fly on
like
the wall when they recorded that video, right?
To see that. I would have loved to see those two on stage. Can you imagine what that would have been like to see those two live just like breaking out under pressure? That would have been cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Janis Joplin.
Okay. But she was in...
So, this is the funny thing. Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix just died a few days like from each other. And people think, you know, it was a drug problem. They both, you know, had problems with an overdose.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix's girlfriend swears she woke up in the morning and found him dead. And she just doesn't believe that he died that way. But I think that's just denial. But they say,
yeah, so potentially some kind of cover up that someone killed him or what?
Well, there's people who theorize that Janis Joplin and him were given like bad drugs to kill them.
Oh.
I don't know. So anyway, Janis Joplin, the drugs that she used, other people had died from buying from that same dealer for that same batch. So
bad batch, huh?
Yeah, which is sad because that happens to people sometimes, and it's like, street drugs, you know, scary stuff. You don't know what people put in that stuff. I mean,
and if you've got a problem and you're you know jonesing for a fix.
Yeah, well, and like you said, when you're younger, you have a tendency to think your body can handle it. Yeah. I can take a little extra, I'll be fine. You know, you don't like think about that.
It's not as easy to stay away from the fall off the cliff on the edge. You think, no problem.
Yeah, so he ingested barbiturates before falling asleep, and they say he aspirated on his own vomit. And that's how he died. And she woke up with him dead next to her.
That's
sad.
Awful.
Yeah. So, anyway, with Janis Joplin, she had done a heroin batch with alcohol. And the heroin she bought was, like I said, from a guy who'd sold.
Yeah, heroin is really scary stuff, man.
Yeah.
Really scary.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's certain drugs that like will get you addicted or mess you up, but there are drugs that are basically like walking a path to death.
Yeah.
And if you get addicted to heroin, you'll get to the point, I have never used it. I just know people who have. But if you don't stop, you'll get to the point where you'll just need more to get
it's the only thing you care about. I watched, there was a Netflix special about drug use and they covered a lot of it. And they have a couple episodes where they go over heroin and people literally get sick. Like
that's what I'm saying.
The withdrawals, they become so dependent on it that
their body.
They will literally, like when they scale people off of heroin, they literally have to give them heroin in smaller doses and like work their way off of it.
Exactly.
Because it's
like my
stuff.
friend, you know, I have a friend and her husband both are ex-heroin addicts, and they don't touch alcohol or anything. And she told me, like, if I have one beer, I'll be given a blowjob. Oh, excuse me. I'll be doing something in 2 weeks for her heroin. Like, she can't trust to lower that. 'Cause she's like, once you're addicted to that, you
that's the only thing that matters. You'll do anything. So they rock
climbing stuff, and sorry about the saying that. But anyway, like, basically it just shows how desperate it is. And like he was saying, like Mikey was saying, with heroin, you'll get to where you need more. And if you stop and try to go down, you'll get sick, really sick.
Yeah, the withdrawals cause you to be physically ill.
Yeah, then you'll increase, and then your body wants more of it, and that's not enough, and you'll get sick again. So it'll slowly make you upgrade till you eventually are going to overdose.
Yeah, where you're literally killing your body.
Yeah, exactly. And it's super sad. I want to just throw out mad respect for anyone who's had a problem with heroin and has walked away from that.
Yeah.
Because that's hard.
It's a crazy uphill battle. And
and nobody starts taking it with the intent of getting addicted. So, you know, it's just like I said, you know, lots of love to all those poor people who died, and lots of respect to the people who are still here.
Yeah.
Because that's a rough battle.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So then we get these people, they're all dying, you know. That's 3 in 1970, right? And then we have...
We're still not born yet.
Yeah. And then, you know, we've got 64, then 68, and another in 68. You know, like all these people just dying at 27 who've gotten quite, you know, famous. And, you know, I don't know. I just think, you know, we might start to see other patterns too, because we've started seeing, there's a few people who've died at like 21 recently who were really, like, what's his XXX Tentacion or whatever. Like in his earlier 20s. I don't know if they're going to make that a big thing, but there's like other people that also have had the thing. But this 27 one is like, it's just been around for a long time.
So what are some of our other names closer to our time frame, past the 70s into the 80s and beyond?
So there was one in 71 who was murdered. Okay. And if you want me to just kind of like bump up, I will. And then, you know...
Not because I want to make their lives insignificant. It's just that...
Timing, yeah.
I've only known a couple of these names.
You're curious about the ones you know.
Yeah, so now I'm wondering who else is on the list.
Yeah, I got you. No, I get it. So anyway, we have next Jim Morrison. So, you know, I'm sure you remember him, right, in your time? Or do you not? He's from The Doors.
Of course, The Doors.
Yeah. And anyway, he had heart failure and was found dead in a bathtub. But we all know he had drug problems and depression problems really bad. I wonder almost if the ones who died from like heart issues, it was because they just like too much drugs, too much alcohol, and it like finally their bodies just couldn't take it at a young age.
Their organs were just okay, we're done.
You know, like they say party like a rock star, right? And like, you know, some of the people that were like hardcore back in the day, you look at them now and they look like they're 86 and they're only 50, you know, and they're having a hard time. I mean, come on. I have some like towards Ozzy, but look at Ozzy Osbourne. I'm just like,
what are you talking about? He's maybe 55 years old. What the bleep you talking about, you know?
I actually saw him in concert after he was like doing the
mumble.
And you know what? He seemed very alert.
Oh,
and yeah, he had one song where he kind of like seemed like he was a little bit for a minute, but otherwise everything else was like on point, and you could hear him like clear, loud, like it was like the man that we knew from their reality series wasn't the man that you were seeing in front of you.
On stage.
Yeah, so he like, I don't know. And he was talking about how it was his last show, and then he was like jokingly like, yeah, probably
That's
not.
what they say until they can't buy any more drugs.
Like it's probably not his last show, but
I went and saw the Scorpions on their air quotes final tour. Pretty sure the Scorpions have performed since then.
Yeah, I think he was all like my final tour, and then he's like yeah, like it really will be, you know. The
final finale of the final finale that you'll finally watch one more time.
I think it's what it is they're like, yeah, I think we just need to be done with this. And then they either kind of miss being in front of the crowd, or they're like, you know what? I'm kind of a little low on money.
No, I really think a lot of the time it's
we're
like,
a little low on money.
Okay, maybe my lifestyle's a little more expensive than I thought it was.
We need to do another
show,
boys. Time for
another injection of cash. Let's go on tour.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, from The Doors, he was part of that club as well. And, you know, that was still in 71, but I feel like you would know, you know, who it is. So that's like the next year. And in 71 was the other one that you wanted to skip over, which was Dyke, which was Alistair Christian?
I don't know that one.
Frontman of the proto-funk outfit Dyke and the Blazers.
What a nice name. That would get cancel culture right now.
That's true.
Moving on.
Anyway.
No disrespect. I don't know who that band is. It's a very interesting name.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. So, they did Funky Broadway. Yeah, but anyway, and Dyke, it could have been a guy. Like, this is probably before they started using that term so much.
You are probably right.
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
I mean,
I'm a Christian.
There was a time.
His name was Christian.
There's a time back when, when people called
Dick.
Richard Dick. Yeah,
exactly.
And it was fine.
And I still talk to every once in a while an older man, who goes by Dick. But younger people now, they, probably don't dare to because of all the, attachment to it now, right? So.
What else we got?
I would own it.
I'm still curious. What else we got?
Okay, we have Linda Jones, and I don't think that you know who she is.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, she was a part of a family gospel group, and she died in 1972.
Okay.
And she had complications from diabetes. So I actually, when I started hearing all this, I expected more of them to be drug overdoses than they were.
But there are more, different...
We've had 2 heart attacks. We've had a murder. We've had a misadventure in the pool.
Misadventure in the pool.
That was my favorite.
However that translates. Once again, no disrespect.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a tragedy.
Just noticing, patterns. And then we have Ron Pigpen from 1973. And I don't know really much of his stuff. It was the That's for the Other One. I don't know that song. But he had a gastrointestinal. I can't say that word. Can you say it? Gastrointestinal. Thank you.
Gastrointestinal.
I literally have, if somebody told me that I had to say that right or they'd kill my family, I would.
You might be in trouble.
They probably would die because I really can't.
Sayonara.
Gastrointestinal. It's such I don't know. It's a tongue twister for me somehow. But he had a hemorrhage from that.
That's awful.
Okay, he had one of those.
Okay.
So, that does not sound like a nice way to die to me.
No.
Not at all. So we have another guy from 1973. I'm going to kind of skip around. So that's it's pretty consistent. If you notice, that's 2 from 1973, 1 from 1971, 2 from 1971. I don't know.
No, but like I'm saying, there's enough people.
That's true.
That are famous that happen to die at the same age. And they're like, wow, 2 people in the same year died at the same age. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, and there's been mathematical people even who's tried to find some pattern, any pattern. And I just think that's interesting. That, I don't know. I mean, I would assume that everyone had thought that it was kind of just a coincidence, but I just think it's interesting that people really wanted to check it.
I think it is.
We have a lot of times where 2 people die in the same year, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
well, and we've had a lot of celebrities that have died young over the last few years, but not necessarily the same age.
Yep.
But part of life, you come out of the birth canal, you take your breaths, you become a person, and eventually you run out of time.
Yeah, so we had, I don't know, I think the 70s were just harsh. They were doing too many drugs. I think that's
we're circling back to the drugs.
I'm still in the 70s here, and these are supposed to be the more predominant
but
ones.
On the same note,
70s
are not, okay, maybe they perfected it and passed it on, but 80s, 90s, I mean, how many celebrities have died from drugs?
You're right. Well, no, I mean, in general, but I mean, because not all these people did, right? So we have another one that died in 1973 and another one. And then in 1974, we have one. I'm trying to look for ones that you actually really know at this point. But we got a 1975, another 1975, Peter Ham.
We're terrible now. We're just naming the year.
No, but I'm kinda,
no, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little. But I will say how about this? We'll just we're going to look at the way they die and decide what we think on that. So we have one that died of a horse riding accident.
That's rare.
Yeah, like the pool one. That's Roger Lee Durham in 73.
No, but if you get like bucked by a horse, I mean, they have enough strength.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and if you get even
collapse
knocked
your
off,
whole body,
you could break your neck, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we have a plane crash in 74.
There's a lot of them that have done that. Like you had Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
Buddy Holly and come on, the La Bamba guy.
Oh.
Richie Valens.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, that was his stage name later.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, we've had a few that have died young on an airplane.
Well, even the recent. I mean, I don't think she's part of this 27 Club, but the girl who was in like Romeo Must Die and Queen of the Damned, who was a singer. They packed up the plane too full, and she crashed and died, and she was just starting her career.
Oh no, I remember that.
I can't remember.
I remember
the
movie Queen of the Damned.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she was like a new upcoming talent, and I feel bad that she had to go down like that right when she was starting, all of her stuff. Mm-hmm. So we have a pulmonary edema,
which is like a heart.
Yeah,
heart failure.
Like I'm saying, like the ones with all the heart. I mean,
cocaine.
They were doing a lot of uppers.
What's that song? Kickstart My Heart.
There we go.
By who does that one? Skid Row or whatever?
Yeah. So, and then we have a suicide. And we've got, and that one's in 75. This one's in 75. I've noticed that it seems like they tend to come in twos in the years, which is interesting.
Well, if you do your mathematics and your laws of averages, every year there's got to be at least two 27-year-old celebrities that die.
Woohoo. So yeah, then we've got Gary Thane, who was born in New Zealand. Interesting. So he did Blues with Rock. I'm telling you, there's something about that. And he died of respiratory failure. Maybe he was smoking a little too much of that stuff. The stuff, like all the stuffs.
Maybe he forgot to breathe.
I don't know. But anyways, and then we have, here's 76. We have a car accident. I just don't want to run out of time just going on naming these. We have carbon monoxide poisoning again on another one. And we've got another car accident. This was the year I was born. It was Chris Bale.
Not Christian Bale, the actor. I'm Batman.
No, not that. But I Am the Cosmos is a single that he made, and You and Your Sister. Ooh, what was that one about?
It was about you and your sister.
Yeah. So
where are you going with this, Lee Earth?
I don't know.
So, but now I'm curious. I don't want to rain on the subject. I'm curious about more recent 80s, 90s. Do you have any other big names?
Yeah, so we're to 79 now, where we have a heart attack followed by a car accident.
Okay.
So we just comboed it.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're getting into the 80s. We've got D. Boone, singer and guitarist with California hardcore trio Minitumen?
Don't know that one.
Dennis D. Boone's. Okay, so
Mr.
I guess
Boone's.
Traffic accident, and that's sad. A lot of these people die in car accidents or planes, but a lot of people actually die from those in a year, like car accidents, not planes, but 88. So this was after you were born.
Hey, I'm alive! What do you know? I'm in diapers. No, I'm probably potty trained by then. I am potty trained.
So he was a famous Soviet Russian guy, and he fell from a building. So we've got collections of unique ones, right? And then we have another 88.
That would be an interesting full story to hear.
Right?
He fell.
He was all,
was he pushed off?
Like a little tipsy and
I can
fell.
fly.
Okay, we have another murder, but that's also a foreigner. Okay, I'm gonna bump us up a little higher here. I'm getting to 89.
Thank you. I mean, no, like I said, no disrespect, but I don't know who these people are.
Well, and I didn't realize that there would be that many in that time period. I thought once I hit I thought pretty much we were gonna get into the Hendrix and then be kind of jumping straight up to the, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, and I didn't have a lot to go on.
That's all right.
Because obviously it wasn't true. But we got, Cancer with one. That's a new one. Another murder. Okay, this one's 94, Kurt Cobain. And we all know that, that was a suicide. There are a lot of people who think his wife offed him, and there's other conspiracy theories. But
yeah,
I say, like, unless you find some real evidence, leave Courtney alone, We don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, really. And then we've got Kristen Paff. Do you know who she is? She overdosed on drugs.
Is it the actress?
She would have been in the music industry. Let's see. She was a bass player for the Minneapolis group. Janitor Joe. I don't know them. Do you?
I think they must have been on the more obscure side. Never heard of them.
Maybe like really alternative or something, and then we didn't hear them. And then Ricky Edwards. I don't know who he is. Do you? That was 95.
Ricky? No.
Yeah.
I know Ricky Martin,
Yeah, and he disappeared.
Wow.
Like, how do they know he died then? He was officially pronounced dead on the 23rd.
Well, if you've been missing for long enough, then, one might assume.
He went missing in 1995. But I feel like that one's not for sure valid because we don't know that he died at 27, do we?
He could be, like, partying with some monks up in Tibet, for all we know.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know who Stretch is. Do you?
Stretch?
Mm-hmm. It was from 95, too.
Nope.
Like, there's a lot in 95. It was a busy year. That was a murder. Okay, we got Fat Pat in 98.
Fat Pat.
Yeah.
Did it have to do with heart failure from cholesterol?
No, he was murdered.
Oh, that's awful.
Innovator behind the chopped and screwed sound that would gain a greater hold on Southern hip hop in the years after his death.
Okay.
So, I never heard him. Screwed up click rapper Fat Pat was murdered outside a promoter's apartment. And this came from the 90s. This is their name. Freaky Ta.
Freaky Ta.
Freaky Ta.
Is it like reggae or?
And guess what they brought up? Lost Boys gained recognition after contributing the song Renee to the soundtrack of the 1996 spoof movie Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. I don't remember that from the soundtrack.
Neither do I.
I have the soundtrack. Anyway, he was murdered. It seems like now we're getting up into the 90s where everyone's just murdered, right?
Yeah.
And then we got
gang violence.
Yeah. We've got Cammy, who I guess was a drummer with a Japanese band. That's cool. In 1999. What the heck is this? Subarachnoid hemorrhage? What's a subarachnoid?
It just sounds like it'd be very not pleasant.
Sounds like I don't want to do it. I am so bad at medical terms.
When hemorrhage means burst, so
Yeah, it's something bad.
It's not good.
Something bad.
It's not good when your body bursts. Except when you pop a really satisfying zit. I mean, that's the only time it's okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think we've all had that.
I don't want a hemorrhage at all right?
So anyway, I'm just gonna see if I can find someone. We've got another car crash. These are other people I don't think we know. Cause of death, drug. This is somebody from South America. Another plane crash. I mean, think about it. If you're rich, you're flying a lot more often. So I feel like your chances, if you're famous, raise because they're like throwing you on planes to go to shows.
Well, yeah. Everything. I mean, the more you do a thing, if there's a chance something can go wrong, you have more exposure to it.
Yeah. Well, and private planes, they're not always, is like with a regular airline plane, they have like things they have to be up to par on. You get some of these people who are taking some like little private flight plane, and I think it's more likely you can have a problem. But I think
like you had the tragic death of the Black Mamba, man. basketball player for the Lakers.
Oh yeah. Do you know
He died helicopter crash.
There was a whole football team. I can't remember where it was from, but they crashed in a plane, and they had the whole team and the coaches and everything on the flight. And like that, they made reference to that, and they made reference to that in Beetlejuice, which I thought I didn't know that until I watched. One of the weird things I watch where I like to know things.
Yeah, one of those weird things.
Yeah. So anyway, basically, the list just keeps going on, and Amy Winehouse.
I'm just convinced there was enough famous people that they thought it was something. Because, I mean, we're talking about, honestly, a list that's not massive over a very long period of time.
True.
And they joined the club just because they're famous. I mean, how many people have died when they're 27
you're right.
whatever?
You're right.
So
if you think statistically.
I'm not really buying
this whole
the big,
conspiracy that something's up.
Yeah, I mean, they're just,
You want to know what you would find interesting? So it was alcohol poisoning that killed Amy Winehouse. Do you want to know how high her blood alcohol level was?
What?
It was 5 times the legal limit.
Wow.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah, you're chugging liquor bottles to get to that point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't even think I could, hold consciousness at that point. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think, we even have Kim Jong-un in 2017. I didn't know he died. Oh, that's sad.
Who?
Kim Jong-un. He was in Shiny, their main singer.
Oh, really?
The Shiny that sang the...
Yeah, a K-pop artist.
Yeah, that Ding Dong...
Ring, ding,
that
ding,
one.
ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
You got it. You actually introduced me to that band.
I love Shiny.
Yeah. So they're...
I like K-pop. Come on, man.
I can't believe you didn't recognize his name. I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm more of a K-pop.
I know their music. I don't know all their names, all right?
I'm more of a K-pop fan.
Fine, you can take the title.
I'll take it.
I don't care.
We used to have K-pop Sundays with Jareth when he was little.
Yeah.
We'd go K-pop out. So anyway, he killed himself with carbon monoxide in a rented apartment in Seoul. He turned it on and just let himself go.
That's sad.
I know, super sad.
I'm done, Lele. I'm done with the death. I'm done with all these people. But I still think after,
I know.
Hearing the spiel and hearing the people.
You don't think it was some kind of curse?
No, they're just enough famous people that have died at the age 27. I think we could pick age 36 and then we'd find at least 50 people. Let's pick 29. Famous. How about 32?
Yeah, but isn't it interesting, though, that was, kind of picked out? People started to notice this trend, and it became, a thing.
Well, and honestly, 2 famous people like Hendrix and then they're like, oh, well, hey, they died when they were 27, too. Whoa. There's something here. Not.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
There were some actors, too. The one that made me sad that I didn't realize was part of it, he was actually friends with Punky Brewster. Which I loved Punky Brewster when I was a kid.
That was a fun show.
Yeah.
When we
so
were kids.
Jonathan,
for sure, that was a fun one.
Jonathan Brandis. So he what you would probably recognize him with, because I don't think you watched One Life to Live.
No.
But he was in Stephen King It.
Okay.
He was the main boy, the brother of whose little brother died. I love it, and I can't think of
he's the older brother. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was having a moment because I used to I love.
No, I know what you're talking about. The main kid whose brother in the opening scene gets taken.
Anyway, if you saw a picture of him back when he was younger, you totally would recognize him. But I didn't know that he was part of the 27 Club, and I grew up watching him and stuff. He was a child actor who, and I was like, that's too bad. So. They're like you said, you add in everybody. Let's go. And if we add in, that was just musicians I was going on.
There's how many billions of people in this world? How many are famous?
Anyway, I just wanted to touch on it because I just think it's interesting how people will decide to have these superstitions and find patterns.
They just want to make sense of something and make it something that it's really not.
Exactly.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah. Well, and the more I looked at it too, I was like, I mean, okay, if somebody just wanted to talk about kind of the conspiracy around Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and whatnot, and the other guy who died, Jones, was actually friends with Jimi Hendrix, and same with.
Are you saying they all got a bad batch together?
Yeah, because they were like literally, he did a tribute thing to one of them, and then another one added him in a song, and all three of them ended up being part of the 27 Club, which I think is rather odd. You know, that's kind of different.
Yeah.
But like, I could see someone like talking about that anomaly. But like you said, I think, you know, when that happened, it was weird. So people sort of noticed they were 27, and then as soon as we had, you know, Kurt Cobain do it, they're like, oh, that's another 27. And then probably after that, when Amy Winehouse happened, they're like, how many other musicians have died at 27?
Let's find every single one.
Literally went down to like what? Someone born in the 1800s, like died in the early 1990s, like early beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that, like you said, people find patterns.
I think it's much ado about nothing.
Just like everyone who's super famous right now is in the Illuminati. Just understand that. You must be prepared to accept.
I'm super famous and I'm not in the Illuminati, so I can look you straight in the face and tell you that's not true, Leah.
You know how many
everyone knows who I am.
You know how many celebrities have come forward? They're like, I'm not in the Illuminati. I'm not, you know, and you're just like, oh geez. So I don't know. I have a hard time like going into the superstition things because you know how I am. But I just thought it was interesting that like so many people, it's like, oh, 27 Club. And you're like, what is the deal? So I just wanted to introduce you to it and just, I don't know. I feel like people need to like stop trying to find patterns where there aren't.
Or make sense of something, but...
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to make sense of something. Don't try to... Is that your...
Who would want to make sense of anything, ever?
Is that what you want to leave everyone with today? Is don't try to make...
No, I'm really sorry. Make sense of things that actually matter in your life.
And not that their deaths didn't matter, but like, did you have to find a pattern about their age? Yeah, you're right. You could probably find like a whole bunch of really famous people who died the same age and make another club if you wanted, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now.
We can post it on our Twitter.
There's a 27 Club and then there's a 33 Club.
You've already decided that. See, and I bet you he'll be able to find enough people to make it look like it might be real.
Yeah.
And he just random picked an age. All right. I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Close it up.
And, you know, feel free to let us know. We are going to put our Twitter, or not. Yeah, I think it's Twitter.
Our Twitter link.
Yeah. We're going to start putting that on the bottom. And if you want to go on Twitter and tell us what you have, like a theory on the 27 Club or what you think.
Or if there's a topic you would love to have us talk about.
I would love that. I'm the one who has to think of the topics.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't have your job, Lele.
Yeah, it's okay. I like, you know, finding out about stuff. Just sometimes it's hard to decide on what to talk about, you know, because there's so many options. There's everything.
Well, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
And keep on listening. And
don't die at 27 if you're under there or there.
At least make it to 28.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.